Hi, how y'all doing? It is Sunday, the 19th of October, 2025. Here in Ontario, Canada, skies are cloud covered. It rained all night. I came in last night. I was done sitting outside talking to my son, listening to music at around 9 o'clock. I said, I'm tired. I'm done. He's like, okay. So, do you want to stay on the couch? He's like, no, I can make it home. So, you sure? He's like, yep. So, away he went. And I came in, brought all my stuff to my room, right? Like, you know, the stuff that I use all the time. And realized this phone that I'm talking on wasn't there. So I went outside and I looked all over the place. I looked through my house. Nope. So I texted my son and I said, I lost my phone. And he phoned me back, texted me back and said, yeah, I found your phone. I have it. I said, oh, okay. Right? And then I texted him at 5:30 in the rise today because I wasn't sure what time he gets up to go to work, right? And asked him if he could bring me my phone, and he said, yeah, right? I said, okay. And then he texted me later and said, well, you can come get it if you want at work. And I was like, all right. So I got my truck and met him at Tim Hortons. I never shop there. And he gave me my phone. He says, I pulled it out of my bag and I realized this isn't my phone. This isn't how it works. And he had taken my phone, right? So I got it back. How'd you sleep last night? Me? I went to sleep pretty quick, but I had some gin in me, right? And I slept till about 02 in the middle of the night. And then I woke up, had to go to the bathroom, went back to bed, slept for an hour or two, got up again, went to the bathroom, tried going back to sleep again. I was awake at 5:30, so it was like my feet started cramping up. And I was like, oh no, right? So I was like, I'm getting up. So I sat up, cracked my ankles to get them to stop, and it just started pouring out. And I said, oh, that's what's doing it, was the rain, right? Kept on messing with me throughout the night. So yeah, it's not raining right now, it's drying up, but it's forecasted throughout the day. But I knew something was happening because they've been putting up those frequency clouds, right? They brought the weather in. So yeah, they have to manufacture our weather. Um, what was I gonna say? I wrote a couple things down. I don't know what the Schumann is today. It hasn't been posted. It was 35 yesterday, and yeah, it was pretty intense energy yesterday. The children, a bunch of the little girls here, came out and was hanging around me and stuff like that. And I was like, why does this always happen, Justin? Right? Look at them, right? You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, I know, Mom. So, yeah, I'm their friend. And I didn't do nothing. I just be myself, right? Um, then we're sitting out there, and there was a young man sitting on the step across the laneway. And he looks over and he says, I like your truck. And I said, you do? I said, he's old, right? He goes, I like your truck. I was like, right on. And then I asked him, are you vaxxed? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh. He was like, I had to. I was in school, blah, 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 right? I had to. Excuse doesn't fly with me. But I let it go. You know what I mean? I am not doing that. And he came over and he started chatting me and my son up. And it turns out he's like 20 and he's an orphan, right? He was adopted and he's trying to find out his heritage. And I said, well, you got brown eyes, so you got melanin in you. Do you know what I mean? If that helps from dark skinned people, right? I just told him, I hope you find what you need to find, right? And then he went back to where he was sitting. And my son and me were in conversation throughout the day, the night, whatever, right? And I had mentioned about being alone, you know what I mean? And he was like, nah, Mom, you're not alone. I'm alone, right? And I was like, we talked about it a little bit, and it made me realize, right, because he wants to have a child. He's like 42 now. And I think he gave himself a vasectomy when he was 5 years old, right? He was riding on a tricycle and there was a jagged piece of metal on it, and he tipped over and cut his little testicles right in the middle on the seam, about, a centimeter deep. You know what I mean? So even my mother said at the time when this happened and we were doctoring him up, right, that I think he might have given himself a vasectomy, and I was like, oh, I hope not, right? I hope that's not what it is. But yeah, I told him just wait till the med or the healing crystal chambers come and stuff. You'll be able to mend yourself, and then you can find a woman and do that, right? Trying to cheer him up, because I really believe that that's the thing. The med beds, the crystal healing chambers, and there's one more. I just can't remember what it's called. But yeah, it's tech that we had that was taken, right? Hidden from us. They come out and say it's new, but it's not. It's ancient, right? Stolen from the tribes. That's another thing too. The Smithsonian was ordered to release everything that they have. It has to be returned, brought out, and told the truth about it. So that'll be interesting, right? Because they've hidden a lot for a very long time, just like the Vatican did. All these places have been taken over. I also noticed yesterday a couple of the YouTubers I used to watch and that were telling the truth about what was going on, right? In their opinion, everybody's got a different avenue of what they speak on, right? And they got their channels back, right? They were taken off. Like, they just pulled their channel for, 3 years? And they got their channels back. That's good news. Something has changed, hasn't it? Because if they were still winning, that wouldn't happen. We've already won. It's just starting to come around. Like I say to people, pendulum went too far to the left. It hit, and now it's on its way back, right? It's just going to keep on getting better and better and better. You'll see. You'll see. So yeah, I realized I'm not alone, right? This young man that was adopted is alone. He doesn't know anything of his family, his bloodline. My son wants to have a child, so he's not alone either, right? It's the reason why I had children, so I had somebody to love, I didn't raise them with money, I raised them with love. So I realized, yeah, the universe showed me, you think you're alone? Check this out. I was like, whoa, I felt it. I did. I didn't get emotional or anything, but it turned on a light bulb, right? Because I'm not alone. I have 6 children. 5 of them are close to me. 1 isn't. She's about 5 hours away. But I'm not alone, right? So yeah. Oh, in the rise, like just before the rise, like 5:30. It doesn't get daylight here until what now? 7:30, something like that, right? I was sitting here looking out the window at the dark skies, right? Notice that the blue light poles that they put up across the street at the government office were all turned off in the pitch dark. And I was like, huh, why aren't they working? And then I was like, maybe it's the rain, right? I don't know. But yeah, they weren't lit up last night. I found that different. So they're brand new. But I was sitting here and I was looking and I was waiting for the sky to start, showing signs it was getting lighter. I guess it was probably closer to 6:30, right? Somewhere around there. And I looked up above the tree out the corner of my window, right? Up into the dark sky. And I started to see just, a little bit of the change in the horizon, right? Where it started, changing it's from black to a lighter color. And then there was two like orange reddish lights up there against all the dark. And I thought, what the heck is that? It's not the sun. It can't be the sun. It's not time yet, right? And I got my binoculars out because my glasses wasn't doing it. So I got my binoculars out and I looked up in the sky to see if I could focus in better, and it disappeared. And then I thought, it reminds me of something, those lights. And it was throughout the summer when I was sitting outside, there was the same color, orangey red lights, two of them, right? They're fairly close together to the west in the sky, in the horizon. So I thought, I wonder what that is, right? And then the sky and today started getting lighter and lighter until I knew it was the sun rising, right? Although we didn't see the sun because this cloud covered out. But yeah, strange. Wonder what it is. My friend's Tass stopped over last night too for a little while, but she was off doing her own thing, and that's okay too, right? Doesn't have to hang out with me all the time, you know? So yeah, I had a pretty good day. Woke up feeling not too bad. Oh, there's a bird in the tree. A woodpecker. Black and white woodpecker. Right? Probably a female. Almost looks like she has a white cross on her back. Different. Woodpecker. What happens every time I see birds in the trees? Communication coming in. Right? Somebody shows up. My hair's weird. It's up. But yeah, with any luck, maybe I'll be able to lay down and have a nap today. I could use it. It was a little bit of a rough night. I don't know if the Schumann's high, like I said today, or not. My ears ring quite loud, though, ever since the middle of the night. So, yeah. Spine's a bit icky. Feet are a bit tense. But other than that, I'm okay. We have a new moon tomorrow. So, time to set new intentions. New goals. Right? It was nice hanging out with my son. Even when I picked up the phone from him in the rise today, he said he had fun. I said, yeah, maybe we can get together and when we're in the right energy and do it again sometime. Because sometimes we get together, we butt heads, you know what I mean? And then he doesn't talk to me for a while because I won't let his ego get the better of me, right? I just won't have anything to do with it. Shut him right down, right? But sometimes we get along. We feel each other's soul. It's different. I like it, right? I do. So now I realize there's a lot of lonely people in the world. This too will change. It will. Once the vibration of the earth and the frequency rises higher. You know? Alright. Every day I'm stronger than the day before. Every day I have more wisdom than the day before. Every day I have more gratitude than the day before. I love you all, to consciousness. Enjoy this night or day. Okay? Okay. I know my message was a bit scattered today, but I'm coming down off the energy from the last 2 days, right? The Schumann being high, spiking like it does. Alright, bye.